Welcome to the most electrifying sports YouTube channel in the game today. You may be reading the title, you may be reading the description thinking, what the heck is a Mike's Corner? Well, I said we were going to be doing some revamping. We're going to change up the channel a little bit, change up the flow of the channel a little bit, and here it is. I want to start making content more weekly versus just randomly, the random crap that I just spit out to you guys as topics come up in the NFL world. I want to be more consistent. So every week on Saturday night, you're going to get a Mike's Corner. Every week on Fridays, I'm planning on doing a fantasy football show down the line here soon. And I have another show planned for the middle of the week somewhere where I just want to sit down and go over some lists that I personally made. Whether it's top 10 quarterbacks, top 10 receivers, yada, 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 and a yabba dabba do, YouTube, and all of you love eating that stuff. Like Jameis Winston eating a W.
That's a W. Let's eat one. Let's eat one.
But anyways, if that wasn't a reason to subscribe to the channel, then this is. Today, first topic we're going to talk about is that 40-yard dash race that was held by like Swiffer Jet or whatever it was. I don't know if you guys saw it. I'm going to bring it to you on this episode. Devin White can run. Then our second topic today is some Julio Jones landing spots. If you haven't heard enough of that, excited to get into it. Excited to get into the first episode of Mike's Corner on the Mike and the Mike Sports YouTube channel. But first, we got to hit that intro.
I gave you fair warning, beware.
Smack him in the corner of the end zone. It is up for the touchdown. Smack him in the mouth.
I gave you fair warning, beware.
I'll smack him in the mouth.
So it was Bleacher Report that held this race between Henry Ruggs, Mecole Hardman, Justin Jefferson, and Devin White. That is right. Linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Devin White. This guy. Devin White weighs 238 pounds. The next biggest receiver in this competition with him, 203 pounds. If you can't do math, quick math, that is a 35-pound difference. Now, Mecole Hardman won the race, but also you got to take into account that when we talk about the weight between Mecole Hardman and Devin White, he's about 50 pounds lighter than Devin White. Mecole Hardman run a blazing 4.2240. I think Ruggs was in the 4.3s. Third place was Devin White with a 4.3740. And then Justin Jefferson came in last with a 4.50. Maybe he slipped at the start, or we'll give you a pass, Justin. Maybe we should take the Jay Jettas name and give it to Devin White. Devin White, you're now Jay Jettas. To put it into perspective at just how fast the 4.37 is for a linebacker to be running in the NFL, Ezekiel Elliott, the guy who's known for being an uber athlete, just kind of a freak of nature running back, ran a 4.47. Slower than Devin White ran in this challenge. I mean, it just showed up on my Google. A top 10 list of fastest running backs in the NFL. And Devin White will be on this list. He will be on the top 10 list for fastest running backs in the NFL. The fact that he's playing linebacker and he's chasing down running backs is absolutely ridiculous. Just insane. Just absolutely insane. Maybe Devin White in his future is going to retire and play tight end. Anyways, congratulations to Mecole Hardman for winning that 40-yard dash and officially stamping himself as the fastest player in the NFL. We already knew that, though.
I'm no good at goodbyes.
Okay, just like everyone else, I have Julio Jones on the mind. Now, this is the jersey of the day, having Justin Herbert up behind me, and there's a reason for that. Because by the next time we talk on Mike's Corner, next Saturday, by the way, I'm hoping that there will be a number 1-1 available for me to buy on the Chargers website. But hey, I'll throw my bias aside. I'm going to give my top 4 landing spots for Julio Jones and kind of debunk some of the popular landing spots that are already set for him. At number 1, told you I'm going to put my bias aside. I put the Colts. Reason for that is they have the draft capital to give up, and it won't hurt them too much to give up the draft capital. They have the cap space to bring on Julio Jones without it completely destroying their cap situation, and they have a team that they got to feel like they're going to win with now. These are kind of the 3 things I'm looking at when I'm looking at landing spots for Julio Jones now. A team could come out of left field and trade for him and just make a bad move. But I feel like you got to have the draft picks to give up and then not basically have no draft picks over the next 3 years. You got to have the cap space where it's not going to kill you to bring him on because he is a veteran receiver and he only has a few years left of good play. And you got to be a contender. Otherwise, what's the point in spending the money, spending the draft capital, if you're just going to take him from Atlanta where he's wasting away and bring him to your team and let him waste away in Jacksonville or New York or any of these other teams that have the cap space to take him on. So at number 1, Colts. They fit all of those criteria. They also need a wide receiver. So it's just a perfect situation to go there. I know they got a little bit of question marks with Carson Wentz, and I've talked about that before a little bit, but I'm starting to lean heavily towards the Colts trying to acquire Julio Jones. Pat McAfee will be pretty happy.
I have texted Chris Ballard directly and told him, what the fuck are we doing?
At number 2, I do have your Los Angeles Chargers and my Los Angeles Chargers for similar reasons. We got the cap to do it. We got the team that thinks that they can win right now, at least with some of the moves that they've made this last offseason. And we got the draft capital to give up. The Chargers not known for making huge trades like this, so we've never really made a trade that would cost us any of our draft capital. It's probably why we never take the leap, and we're always just that team with a future that's bright and just decades of pain for fans, like me. But anyways, the Chargers make so much sense. The only thing you could say about them is that they don't really need a wide receiver, but I beg to differ because Mike Williams' contract is the last year of his deal and they've locked it in. This is RIP Kobe. They've locked it in. This is Mike Williams' last year of his deal. Last year they did something similar with Melvin Ingram and Hunter Henry. And where are Melvin Ingram and Hunter Henry now? Well, Hunter Henry's a Patriot. Melvin Ingram is a free agent. Melvin Ingram, we got a spot for you. Veterans minimum. What are you thinking? Send this to Melvin Ingram. So I got the Chargers at number 2 because they do need a receiver more than you would think. And Julio Jones could fill that wide receiver 2 role while Keenan Allen continues in his prime. It's a perfect situation. And man, just imagine Justin Herbert throwing those bombs to Julio Jones. The number 3 landing spot I have for him is the New England Patriots. They kind of fit all the criteria. They got the cap space to do it. They got the draft capital to do it. But the third one's kind of wishy-washy. Does Bill Belichick truly believe that this team can be a Super Bowl team right now? Questions at quarterback, questions as far as the receivers, which is why you would want to bring in Julio Jones. I don't know. New England took a huge step forward in this offseason, which is crazy because they only had one bad year from Brady to now, and I think they're going to be above 500 again. But even with the great offseason that they had, I don't think I'm ready to book New England's ticket to the Super Bowl until I see them figure out the quarterback situation. Now it might be Mac Jones. Huge Mac Jones fan. By the way, I'm going to plug my own sports network. It's right here. We hosted an all-rookie Madden sim. Mac Jones is your champion, ladies and gentlemen. But until you figure out that situation, I don't know if the Patriots can look in the mirror and say, we're going to be Super Bowl champions. This is our quest for our next ring. As a matter of fact, I think that I'd probably take Brady to win another Super Bowl before I take the Patriots to win another Super Bowl at this point, which is ridiculous. This man already has enough Super Bowls. And then number 4, and this is kind of my dark horse to go after Julio Jones, the Cleveland Browns. They somehow have the cap space with this loaded roster that they have. They got the draft capital to give up, and they have the need at wide receiver. I know they got Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr., but those guys haven't been these ridiculous locked-in, elite wide receiver ones over the last couple of years. Imagine a wide receiver core with Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Julio Jones. Baker could play an entire game with a blindfold and still have 300 yards passing. I also think the Browns are being very aggressive this last offseason, very aggressive in the draft, getting guys like JOK, adding guys in free agency like John Johnson. It shows me that this team really believes that they can win now, and if they think that Julio Jones is that final piece to put them above the Chiefs, Cleveland, this is for you. I say you do it. So once again, I got the Colts, Chargers, Patriots, Browns in that order. Some teams I'd like to debunk a little bit. The 49ers. Reason being, they do have the cap space, but they have traded a lot of their draft picks away, specifically to move up and get Trey Lance. So I don't see them trading more draft picks for a wide receiver when you still have to develop your quarterback for him to even be ready. By the time Trey Lance develops, is Julio Jones still going to be what he is? Is Julio Jones still going to be Julio Jones? Or by that time, is Julio Jones fading into the background? It is awesome, and it's nice to dream about the Deebo Samuel, Brendan Ayuk, and Julio Jones wide receiver core, and with George Kittle at tight end. It will be absolutely amazing. It'd be electric. It'd be so much fun to watch. But this is a team that I know they went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, but they just drafted a quarterback, which leads me to believe They don't think Jimmy's either not going to be able to stay healthy or not going to be able to take him there again. So now you're talking about a rookie quarterback with Julio Jones. Next year, he'll be a second-year quarterback with Julio Jones. You can't really get the maximum out of Julio Jones with that young guy at quarterback who needs to develop, who's known as a project. So that kind of debunks the 49ers for me. The Titans. Everyone's saying that the Titans are going to get Julio Jones. I even made a video responding to A.J. Brown, Titans wide receiver. And A.J. Brown's got you wearing number 8. Blech. You get to stay in that sweet 11. First jersey. Saying, hey, he's not going to your team. Now, I could be completely wrong. But when I go and I look, and maybe this is a complete lie, and maybe they could do some crazy magic around this. They have $3 million. They need to clear $20 million to bring Julio Jones in. And you're not going to be able to give them a bad contract because Atlanta's whole purpose of trading Julio Jones is to clear up cap so they can sign their own rookies. By the way, that is terrible management to set yourself up in a situation where, one, you didn't win the Super Bowl, you lost in it, and now you have no cap space to improve your team. Can't even sign their rookie. But anyways, Titans fans, maybe you guys know, where is this $20 million going to come from? You could play games. Maybe Julio Jones will restructure his deal. But even with the restructure, you got to clear some cap. You guys can drop a comment, by the way, and just tell me how wrong I am if you want. And then the Ravens. The Ravens are a popular destination for Julio as well. I still think the Ravens look at themselves as a run-first team. They're going to mix in the pass a little bit more because they literally have to. The whole NFL has figured out the whole run the ball every single play thing. I mean, it was really only a matter of time until the NFL figured out run the ball every single play. But I still look at them being run first. I still look at Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins getting a lot of touches and Lamar Jackson getting a lot of carries himself. They did add weapons in the offseason to open the pass up a little bit more. They did add a guy like Sammy Watkins. They did add a guy like Rashad Bateman. They did extend a guy like Nick Boyle, who's Mark Andrews, already one of the better tight ends in the league, especially red zone threats, so that way he could stay there and be his backup because Nick Boyle is also a very good receiver him damn self as a tight end. You got Hollywood Brown there. I feel like the Ravens going into 2021 without any injuries feel like, damn, we did enough to help out this passing game, but we're still going to be a run-first team. I don't see the incentive for going after Julio Jones. I don't know if Lamar Jackson can even get the ball downfield to Julio Jones on a consistent basis. So yeah, there's my top 4 landing spots for Julio Jones. He could get traded some random team like the Jacksonville Jaguars, and everything is just thrown in the garbage. And we did all this freaking out for Julio to just go away and waste the end of his career. But come on. He'd look good. He'd look good in that powder blue. Keep seeing people posting pictures of him in a Patriots uniform saying it just feels right. It don't feel right for me. That's it for this week. Drop a comment, your thoughts on what I said on this episode of Mike's Corner, the inaugural episode of Mike's Corner. I can't wait to get you all's feedbacks. And if you are new to the channel, please drop a subscription button below. You probably saw that little subscription thing pop up a couple times during this video. So if you haven't gotten the chance to subscribe yet, please do before you go. It helps me out a ton. Get me to where I want to be, which is doing this on a more full-time basis. Also, let me know what you think of the idea of this whole Mike's Corner thing. If you guys all hate it, put a bunch of thumbs downs or some boos in the comment section, and I'll scrap the whole thing. It'd be a little painful, not gonna lie, but I'd do it. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Mike, and I'm on the mic. This is me saying, until next time. Here we go. Subscribe socks of the week. It's a new segment. It's Dwayne The Rock Johnson on my socks. Figured it's fitting for the most electrifying sports YouTube channel in the game. Today you got a little Brahma Bull on there. Remember to subscribe for more socks next week. That's the best pitch I got. Socks. That's the best pitch I got. Also, one of these videos takes you to the WARZONE Sports Network, a sports network that I co-founded. You definitely want to go check that out.